I once stumbled upon a dating show series, right? And I'd been seeing it for a while, but it's never been of interest to me. But there was a particular day, the topic kind of piqued my interest, so I clicked on it. And the way this dating show works is about 9 to 10 men or women, but in this case, they were women, would hold balloons. Then a man would come out and talk about himself. Now, the women were free to burst their balloons at any time if they felt they were not that interested. In every series, there would be a speaker that would introduce the guest. So the guest on this particular series was a man, and there were about 9 to 10 women holding their balloons. And as he came out, she started to ask him questions and asked him what his name was and what he did for a living. So he mentioned his name. Let's call him Michael. So he goes, his name is Michael, and he's a truck driver. And as soon as he said that, 9 out of the 10 women bursted their balloons. So she walked up to them because they didn't even give him a chance to finish speaking, right? So she walked up to them and started to ask them questions about why they busted their balloons, and they kept giving excuses. So each one of them said, well, he's a truck driver, that's he would work long hours and everything. Now, only one woman did not burst a balloon, right? And then the speaker went to that woman and went to ask her questions and said, so I noticed your balloon was unpopped. Why did you not pop it? And she went, well, because he wasn't given a chance. I would like to know more about him, and I wanted to ask him a few questions. And she said to him, do you intend driving this truck indefinitely, or you have future plans? And then he started to respond and said, well, what had happened was I'm about to complete my MBA, and I'm also a part-time consultant for a very big company. He mentioned the name of the company. And he said, well, he's in the process. He's at a point in his life where he's looking to settle down. So he needed extra money. He needed to make extra money. Now, driving a truck long hours would give him quite a bit of money. So he wanted to purchase a home, which he had just purchased in a very lavish area and everything, and where he felt like it would be good to raise a family. And as soon as he started to explain himself, all the other women, their eyes popped out and they regretted their actions. So almost immediately they were kind of looking like, oh, they wanted their balloons back and everything. And so the speaker said to the man, well, it seems as though everybody wants their balloons back. Do you want to give them a chance? And he said, well, I would have loved to. It's just I would like to get to know this lady more because she gave me a chance, so I would like to give her a chance as well. And then she got the guy. Well, they went on a date. They did not even give him a chance, and then they realized he was a man of value, right? Most of us, like those women, choose partners based on aesthetics. Now, there's nothing wrong with aesthetics, looks, the clothes, everything. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but it's also very important to know the man behind the mask. So, if it's of any interest to you, let's analyze together the qualities of a high-value man. Now, I wanted a reference point anyone could relate to, or at least you can look it up if you're not familiar with the character. And the ideal example that kept coming to me was David, King David from the Bible. David wasn't the wealthiest king. In comparison to kings like Solomon, he was nowhere close. He wasn't even the most handsome. His brothers were actually described to be better looking and by appearance more suitable for the throne. He wasn't perfect. This was a man that committed a sin so atrocious. Yet, God anointed him king even before he ever thought about the palace and called him a man after his own heart. Which leaves one to wonder what was so special about David? His heart. A giant named Goliath was troubling Israel, and no one dared challenge him until David heard about him and made a decision to battle with him. Now, many of us are facing our own personal giants, intimidating situations. Sometimes it's our health, career, finances, whatever it is. For David, it was Goliath, and for that man, Michael from the show, his giant was financial constraint. As David expressed his desire to battle Goliath, King Saul placed his arm on him, and I bet it was shiny too. But David had a vision. He could have stepped out in that shiny armor for everyone to praise and envy him, but he had a vision as to how he wanted to defeat Goliath. He had killed a bear and a lion before, and as he walked around in the king's shiny armor, he realized it didn't align with his vision. Forget about praise, he had faith in God. Like David, Michael from the show had a vision. He was looking to improve his livelihood to start a family and was facing financial constraints. If he picked up odd jobs here and there, not minding mockery and judgment from others, he could save up quickly to achieve his goals. So, what's the first quality of a high-value man? He has a vision for his future and he works towards achieving it. King Saul became jealous of David and wanted to take his life. Now, by coincidence, Saul went into the same cave David and his men were hiding to take care of bathroom business, right? And David then snuck up behind him and cut off the hem of his garment. In the ancient world, one's authority and power rested in the hem of one's garment. Not only that, the hem of a ruler's garment is an extension of their royal essence. So David felt remorse for doing that. God had promised he would be king, and he wanted to be king, but he didn't want to take matters into his own hands by taking Saul's life. He didn't want to be king by being disobedient to God. So the next quality of a high-value man is obedience. If a man will do just about anything unethical to achieve his desires, he's not in obedience. David was on the roof of the palace one day and he saw a beautiful woman bathing. He sent for her, laid with her even though she was married. And then when she became pregnant, he tried to cover it up by sending off her husband to be unalived in battle. When David realized the sin, he didn't shift the blame. A lot of people, like the first man Adam, would have blamed most likely the woman. The next quality of a high-value man is accountability, taking responsibility for your wrongdoings and making amends. David confessed his sins, prayed, fasted, and repented. There is no perfect man. It's not about how many times a man falls, but how he picks himself up and keeps on moving. When the Ark of Covenant was returned to the Israelites, David danced with all his might before God. And as the Ark entered the city of David, his wife Michal saw him dancing and despised him for it. Because, according to her, his attitude did not fit with royal dignity. And when she confronted him, David reaffirmed his faith and love for God. The most important quality of a high-value man is love. Please note that if a man does not truly love God, he cannot truly love you. And my statement is open to criticism, but there's a saying that the purest act of love towards God is to show love to his other creations. Now, if you don't truly love God, it's quite impossible to genuinely love his other creations. Namaste.